Dr. Stone, greatness is back. Let the farmland saga commence. You knew I had to make that joke, given how much I love Vinland Saga, and of course how much I love that Dr. Stone greatness. But I think the idea of farming, it just makes so much sense. I mean, given where this village was at prior to Senku, I mean, it's already a night and day difference. But man, you feel bad when you hear about the stories of just like starvation and who didn't make it when the fish weren't biting. And honestly, the idea of getting to a point where they're growing a wheat field, maybe the bread is a little poisonous as it stands, unless while you were born in the Stone Age, because honestly, anything's gonna taste better than what you were probably eating before. But I love the fact that this show, time moves so quickly, but also so slowly in all the right ways. So we're building into where we're going to take Ryushi and we're going to sail into the new world. Season 3 is going to be a split core, meaning we're getting half now, and as long as there's no delays, most likely half in fall. So Ryushi, who is introduced in the special episode that aired a few months ago, I forget exactly when, but it wasn't too long ago, so if you haven't watched it, maybe you're a little confused on who this new character is. But I love the fact that for a show that's all about showing going from nothing to already flying in the sky, sailing across the seas, and having so much that these characters never thought they would see again or characters never believed could exist. They speed through things in all the right ways, but always take enough time so the viewer can comprehend what's going on, but never slow it down to the point that you say, we're truly just watching wheat grow and it's boring. No, we're saying, oh, this is why certain characters' fields are going really well and others aren't. The idea of crushing up the seashells and basically making a fertilizer, the others didn't do that. I love that this show is unapologetically fun, and as I always say, it's like the same feeling I had when I watched Bill Nye the Science Guy in school. As a kid, I didn't care about science. I really found it boring. But when they used to wheel in that TV with a VCR and play Bill Nye, that was always my jam because he made science fun. And honestly, Senku makes science fun. I love how this author continues to do their research, and literally every time someone goes to investigate, like, nah, this can't work, there's always like this big detailed paragraph, actually, yeah, it probably could work. And I love that about Dr. Stone. Full live reaction is available on my Patreon if you're interested in watching. This is going to be a very fun one. I'm going to be lighting up the entire time I watch Dr. Stone. I truly thought, like, when it dropped, Dr. Stone Season 1 that is, I was like, this is way too good to be true. And now that we're in its third season, this show just feels like it's surely only going to get better from here. The idea that they can actually end going to space used to seem like a crazy possibility when the dream initially came up, but man, given where they're already at, it's entirely possible. So the idea of this first episode of jumping us back in, it basically is all about bringing the idea of how can this village sustain itself, but most importantly, if we set off to a brand new country, a brand new land, how are we going to sustain ourselves? Because right now they have a pretty good system going, but if they were to just go with a month's supply of food, that is, I mean, it's entirely possible there's no wildlife, there's no fish, there's no crops that they could harvest, so it's entirely possible you would be going to your death. So Senku understands that they need to have the right materials, they need to have the right food, so stuff like jerkies or pickled vegetables and things like that makes a lot of sense to bring on your journey. The idea that they have a hard time hunting, so one of the things they do in this episode is they go in the hot air balloon and they make a very detailed map, so now they have a lot better of an idea of where the oil probably is, where hunting grounds are. So there's a lot of really good steps being made, but the biggest one is that they're no longer going to rely simply off of Mother Nature. Are the fish biting? Is there goats in the area to hunt? No, now they're growing their own things, and the fact that we're making these steps and to see tears of joy on these older characters, people who have been around the block generations, and to see them so happy going from this disgusting fish head soup to now having delicious meat stews and just dinner. Like, it goes a long way to make you say these characters have seen things, that this meal is more than just a tasty meal to them, it's literally life-changing. And then to hear the story about how people have lost so much, I may not have seen it, but I've heard the stories. I love how this show just knows how to make you emotionally invested without wasting too much time. A simple moment with a character saying, that looks disgusting, I'm gonna go get better food, turns into an emotionally compelling moment that changes the entire fate of a village, going from a bad fish season that might kill us someday, goes into, holy, we'll never have to worry about that again. There's a lot of different steps that they can make to obviously secure more food, Something that I think would be a good idea is probably having their own fish pond, have like a very large section of water kind of like cut off from like the general stream so the fish can't escape. Raising a bunch of fish, I mean, they'll obviously have breads and things like that. So they're doing a lot of good preparations here. And I love how one of the better moments was with Taiju, who basically they're still reattaching all the broken pieces off of different family members and stuff. But obviously they can't bring them back just yet because they don't have enough food really to safely sustain the current people alive, so bringing more back, while yes, more hands can definitely be useful, you don't want to bring back people you can't save. And to see the one person just crying about parents, and the fact that Taiju just is working into the night, refusing to rest because he's like, if I could bring my parents back, I would, so I'm not going to waste any time when people who had their parents and the possibility of having that familia bond again, he's just refusing to back down. That's what I love about this show. It's funny, it's educational. The core theme of this show is about never giving up and overcoming the worst odds possible. And the extreme personalities are just an added bonus. I mean, I think I've always enjoyed Dr. Stone more than the average masses as a whole, but I think the people who really love Dr. Stone, like myself, we just see something in this show that you can't compare Dr. Stone to a single anime out there, and I really believe that. I've had people recommend shows that are similar, I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good show, but it ain't Dr. Stone. The idea that this has, like, this is truly an original work. And I think the biggest thing that separates this show to similar shows is that the author and team of editors and whoever else works with them is the idea that they actually research and get opinions from people in the fields that they're saying, okay, could a character actually make something in this time period with this tool set possible? And they're like, okay, this is how you'd probably have to go about it. That's always the coolest thing about Dr. Stone, and I'm really interested to see how long it will take before they set sail and go to the new world, because you can literally show me farming in almost any show and I'll probably enjoy it just because it slows things down, and honestly, it's fun. And in Dr. Stone, I mean, we're watching them eat charcoal bread, and that's pretty amusing to me. But I'm interested to see what the new world will look like, what type of characters will be friend or foe, because as it stands, we look at Senku as the smartest man in the world. Imagine them setting sail and a cannon fire comes and hits their boat, right? We never know what could be out there, both people born in this world who have their own intelligence, or characters who might have been brought back with similar intelligence to Senku. And even if that's not the case and Senku remains to always be the smartest, we don't know what type of foes, friends, or potentially more of a neutral person is out there, and a new world has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where this one is going to go, especially because we're not going to have to wait long for the next core after this one wraps up. I almost forgot to mention, but I need to say this, the new opening, while amazing, that ending song, I gotta admit, is already my current favorite anime song of this anime season. It is a jam and a groove, and I love it. But let me know what you're thinking of Dr. Stone New World, or Season 3, Episode 1, down below in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Also be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. And of course, as I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon if you're interested. So, till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.